You talk about gratefulness because I feel a lot of gratefulness towards you, and I feel emotional even writing about it.
You know, it's an expression of the heart, and it comes from love consciousness. When we live in fear, we live in criticism, no? Criticism of ourselves, feeling like victims. We don't appreciate what we do. We don't appreciate what we have. We don't look through the eyes of love. Even when everything's perfect, when we're not loving ourselves, we don't live in gratitude. And it's an interesting thing because Mother Nature lives in gratitude. You know, every morning the sun comes up. Every morning the birds start to sing. Every morning the wind blows. Everything's happening every morning. And then when we go to sleep, the moon comes up and the crickets start to sing and the frogs start to sing and all of the universe becomes alive. And why? Because it's living in abundance and gratitude. Because it's innocent. We, as humans, have such a such a small capacity to perceive the miracle that exists in every moment. The beauty. It's just extraordinary. And it's in every tiny little aspect. But the problem is we live in our heads. We live in our ideas of what we should have, what we need to get, what's wrong with us, what's wrong with the world. And when we start to just anchor in our hearts, we start to see the beauty and we start to feel blessed. And I think on some level, this is what's happening to humanity in this moment. When we start to feel fragile, we start to appreciate how marvelous everything is. You know, it's like the story of the rabbi. There's this little farmer, and he goes into the rabbi. He says, "Rabbi, Rabbi," he said, "I've got a wife and 4 children." He said, "And we're living in 2 bedrooms. The kids are getting bigger. We're all on top of each other. There's never any peace. The kids are always fighting." And the rabbi looks at him and he said, "You believe in me, don't you?" And he looks at the rabbi and he says, "Of course, Rabbi." He said, "I think you're a very, very wise man." He said, "So you're going to do what I tell you, yes?" He says, "Of course, Rabbi." He said, "That's why I came to you. I need your advice." He said, "Well, I want you to go home and I want you to walk around the farm." And he said, "Tell me, what sort of animals do you have?" He said, "Well, I have ducks. I have cows. I have a donkey. I have a dog. I have sheep." And he said, "Very good, very good." He said, "I want you to go home and I want you to bring the ducks into the house." And he looks. He said, "What do you mean, Rabbi?" He said, "You trust me, don't you?" He said, "Yes, Rabbi." He said, "Go home and put the ducks in the house." He said, "Fill up the bath with some water and just leave them there." And he said, "And come back and see me in a few days." So in 2 days, the guy came back, no? And he said, Rabbi, Rabbi. He said, there's absolute chaos in my house. He said, the ducks have poo-pooed everywhere. The dog's chasing the ducks around the house. The wife's screaming. The children are threatening to leave. He said, you believe in me, don't you? You came here for my advice. He says, yes, Rabbi. I came here for your advice. He said, now I want you to go home and I want you to bring the cow into the house. He said, leave the ducks in the bathroom and just bring the cow into the living room, no? And just see how it goes. And come back and see me in 2 days. He said, you trust in me, don't you? Yes, Rabbi. So the farmer went home. And he came back 2 days later. Oh, he said, Rabbi, he said, there is chaos in my house. He said, there used to be 2 rooms. Now there's only 1. The dog chased the ducks. The patos scared the cow. The cow pushed down the wall. My wife's screaming. The children are hysterical. The house is filthy. But you believe in me, don't you? See, Rabbi. See, Rabbi. He said, I want you to go home. And he said, you've got a donkey, no? There's a cow. And there's 2 sheep. Is that correct? See, Rabbi. He said, I want you to go home and I want you to bring the donkey and the sheep in the house. And now that there's only 1 room, there's room for everyone. This is a great day. You believe in me, don't you? Yes, Rabbi. And come and see me in 2 days. So in 2 days, the farmer came back. He said, well, you've done it. You've succeeded. The wife left. She took the children. All the animals are in the house. The house is a complete disaster. We lost another wall. And he said, I thought you were going to help me. You said you were going to help me. And you've destroyed my life. You trust in me, don't you? Rabbi. I want you to go home. Take the animals out of the house. Put the walls up again. Clean everything. And invite your wife back. And the children. And come and see me in a week. So 1 week went past. And the farmer came back. Praise God! My house is wonderful. The wife loves me again. The children stopped fighting. There's so much room. We're living in absolute heaven. And the rabbi said, you trust in me, don't you? So what's the moral of the story? Well, the first moral is, don't ever ask your rabbi anything. And the second moral is, we can never appreciate what we have. We never see in the present moment because we're focused on what's wrong. But when we start to look through the eyes of gratitude, we start to see how fortunate we are. And in this moment, the universe is being a little bit like the rabbi, no? Just taking a few things away, putting a few too many things together, and we're being shaken. And we will learn to appreciate what we have or what we had. And when it comes back, we'll be more open to receive it.
Karina is asking, what is to go through completely the limitations of the ego?
It's just an energy of expansion. Because the ego has a reaction. And what is that reaction? Control, attachment, need. And it's just about letting that go in every moment. And being unto yourself. Being complete with yourself. Surrendering to what is. You know, someone said to me today, aren't you afraid you've got the coronavirus? And I said, no. I went to have a test because I'm coughing over everyone, no? And I thought, when the test comes back, am I nervous about that? No. Everyone else is, but me, no. No. It's a joke. And the thing is, what is. It is what it is. And this is surrender. Because we waste so much time worrying about the future. But there's only this moment. We have to embrace this moment. And humans do the most amazing things. You know, we do a lot of pretty ordinary things. But in these situations, you start to see what a capacity people have to give. What a capacity people have to do acts of kindness. And it's so lovely. And the generosity. And how much the medical people are giving. Imagine them. They're surrounded by people dying all the time. And these people have families. These people have children. They have to go home to their houses. And yet they're still there giving all the time. And everything's uncertain. But we have to get to that point where we're just giving. Because this is what the moment demands. To give. And we have to appreciate all of that. So really, to keep letting go of the fear and ask yourself one question. What can I receive in this moment? What am I meant to learn in this moment? What am I meant to focus on? The fear of what might happen? And I know I repeat this every day. But I'm sure that this repeats the opposite every day. Of course it does. You're unifying, the stress comes up, and that's normal. But we don't want to be normal. We want to be extraordinary. We want to be leaders in consciousness that can give to humanity. So we have to think a facet. Praise love for this moment in its perfection. Thank love for my human experience in its perfection, with all its fragilities. Because you're seeing them now, no? The fragility of the human condition. But embrace it and focus on the love.
Maria Paz comments, I hate my ex-husband. I separated from him more than a year ago. Do you think I will be able to love him as a human being in the future?
You know, the thing is, you don't hate him. You're full of resentment. And it's got nothing to do with him. And you have to let that go. He did this, and he did that, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do that, and all these complaints. And he's already gone, and you're still complaining. You have to see you enjoy that role of victim. Where did I learn that role of victim? Oh, my mother used to do that with my father. I've learned it somewhere. My need, my demands, you need to let it go. Because actually you love your ex-husband. That's why you married him. I'm sure he didn't do everything perfectly. But you started to accumulate resentment. And I've learned one thing in relationships. Every day you have to throw it away. And you have to start afresh. Because if you keep running the drama, you keep recreating drama. This is a big secret. Throw it away and give love. Focus on the love. Expect something, or don't expect anything. That's even better. But be open to the opportunity. Yes? So do this now. And this is a great moment to heal all your relationships. Ring all your exes. Ring them all. Tell them how much you love them. Even if they don't want to answer. You can leave a message. Open. Let go of all your resentment. How to heal my coronavirus. I will let go of all the resentment. What do you think? Sounds like a good idea.
Selena asks, what can you tell about the physical changes that happen in our body as we go on letting go of the patterns of the past patterns?
It's an amazing thing, no? How much toxin, how much anger, how much stress, how much sadness we hold in our bodies. And that's such a big aspect of the detoxification. Letting go of all that angst, all that suffering, all that stress, and everything starts to vibrate differently. It's like anything. If you have stagnated water and you keep putting in fresh water, at some point it becomes fresh. So if you have a body full of fear, stress, separation, and you start putting love, at some point you have only love. And this is what consciousness is. Because this is not fixed. We think it's fixed. But you'll see, as you start to heal, all of the stresses start to heal. All the pain starts to leave. Everything starts to improve. Because this is the house of consciousness. This is where you're going to hold the vibration. And it's a very fast vibration. So it has to heal. It's like an electrical circuit. It has to heal.
Rebecca comments, since several years ago I'm single and I didn't want to know anyone. But suddenly I got obsessed with somebody and all the old anxiety began. What can you tell me?
Why is it like that? Why can't you be light? Why are you being so dense? What are your plans that you've obsessed with this person? Sounds to me that you've set yourself up for disappointment. And you just need to let go of it. You need to enjoy it. That's all you have to do. It's all you have to do.
Maria Teresa tells, I'm going through the quarantine with my mom, and she's always very angry, very bitter. It's everything very negative. Now that I am an adult, I continue defending myself of her mistreat and her bad words. How can I help her? Because my father, who is dead now, used to be the mediator, and how much I'm missing him.
You know, you have to grow up. You have to get to the point where your mother doesn't affect you. It has to be like that. You need to surrender to her. You need to love her. And if she's moving stress and it affects you, just go and move it. You know, your mother doesn't know how to liberate her emotions. Your mother doesn't know how to let go of her negativity. But you can get to the point where it doesn't affect you. Just listen to her. Stop judging her. She can talk all day, all the most negative things in the world, and you use this moment to become extraordinary and start seeing her through the eyes of love. You don't need Daddy to protect you because you're big enough to just be. And this is where you have to take responsibility because you're being like a child. Mummy's being bad to me and Daddy's not here to protect me. Exactly, because he's no longer meant to be protecting you. It's in your hands now. You have to grow up and just love your mother and see the parts you don't like. Because there I go.
Amanda is saying, I can see my intention of giving, but I see that I give where I don't want to be received. And I can see myself so controlling there that giving. How can I let go of that control and give, but from consciousness?
You know, to give has to come from abundance. So you have to focus on your abundance. Because giving with control, giving with conditions, is not to give. That's not to give. That's to manipulate. And you have to let that go. So just go in and give without conditions. Then you'll start to really enjoy it. And then it will become natural. And then you'll learn to open to receive. Because people that give with conditions never have the capacity to receive.
Sophia is asking, I get confused between embracing the present moment and help to diminish the poverty. How both things can lovingly coexist?
You can diminish poverty by embracing the moment. To embrace the moment doesn't mean you don't move into action. You're not just there. What are you doing? I'm embracing the moment. You don't have to be fixed. When I embrace the moment, I'm in action. But I'm in the action of this moment. I'm present with everything. I'm giving. I'm not here. Worrying. I'm here in the present moment, perceiving everything. I'm consciousness in action. I must be consciousness in action.
Diana is asking how to overcome the feeling of non-deserving that conditions all my actions.
I think the answer to that always comes through the expansion of consciousness. And having a big yes for life. You know, people that aren't open to receive always have a no. But it's not a no of protection. It's a no like this, like, no. Start saying yes. You just have to change that. And you can see it. because it has an energy. It's almost a fear of receiving. And there's this little voice, oh, that's too much. Oh, I don't deserve. And just start to say yes. And the more you say yes, and the more you practice, the more you open. And the more you open, the more you receive. But it's the abundance is coming towards you because you deserve that abundance. And you have to open just to say yes. Just say yes. It's so simple.
Katya, how to let go of the addiction to suffering that you always talk about.
You have to see it. And it's always the victim. Someone's doing something to you. Something's not what you want or what you believe. You need to be right. It's always the victim. You know, read the book, Love Has Wings. Read it. Read the graph. And see, oh, these are my behaviours that take me into suffering. It's simple. Look at them. What am I choosing? Oh, I'm choosing something that will make me suffer because I like to suffer. I like the intensity. I like to feel unloved. I like to feel not good enough, but to blame you for it. Because I feel insecure, it's your fault. So take responsibility. Be complete within yourself. Don't look for anything from anyone. Don't expect anything. Just be here. Just give, be in the moment, and be light. This is your last moment. How do you want to spend it? Think like that. Oh, I want to give. I want to heal my relationships. I want to look at the beauty around me. I want to go in. I want to find love. I want to find God. I want to feel secure. I want to feel powerful. I want to feel loved. Write down a list of what you want. But what you really want. I want to go to a restaurant. No, something a bit more deep. You know, something that you can attain in this moment. Start to focus on that.